You ever land on a website and just it feels alive? You click a button and things happen right away without the whole page having to reload? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the magic that makes that all possible. So, let's think about building a website kind of like you'd build a person. First, you've got your HTML. That's the skeleton, right? It gives you the basic structure. Then you add CSS. Those are the clothes. It adds all the style, the color, the personality. But look at it. Something's missing. It's just standing there. What makes it move? What gives it life? Because without that missing piece, a website is basically just a mannequin in a store window. Yeah, it can look amazing, be perfectly put together, dressed to the nines, but it's totally static. You can look, but you can't interact. It doesn't do anything. And that missing piece, that spark of life, that's JavaScript. It's the brain and the nervous system that animates that mannequin. It's what lets a website react to you, change right in front of your eyes, and transform from just a pretty picture into a real, dynamic experience. So how does it feel so fast, so instant? Well, it's all thanks to something called client-side scripting. And that's just a fancy way of saying the code runs directly on your computer in your web browser. Your click doesn't have to go on a long trip across the internet to some server and back. Nope. The magic is happening right there with you, which is why it all feels so seamless. So when you boil it all down, JavaScript is this powerful language that breathes life and functionality into a website. It's the secret sauce behind everything from those slick animations you see to the live updates on your social feed. And the best part? Every single major web browser supports it, so that magic works for pretty much everyone everywhere. Okay, so we get what the magic is, but how do you actually add it to a web page? How do you cast the spell? Well, there are basically 3 ways to do it. You can stick it inline, which means right inside a specific piece of HTML. That's kind of the quick and dirty method. Or you could put it internally, so it's still in the HTML file, but kind of sectioned off. And then there's the way the pros do it, externally. So why is the external way the pros' choice? It's all about organization. By keeping your JavaScript in its own separate file, your project stays clean and tidy. Plus, you can use that same script on tons of different pages without having to copy and paste it over and over again. For any serious project, this is absolutely the way to go. It's just so much more efficient and way easier to manage. All right, now we get to the really fun part. Enough with the theory. Let's look at the amazing things you can actually do with this newfound power. What kind of magic are we talking about here? First up, we've got one of the most basic, but also one of the coolest powers you get with JavaScript. The ability to change stuff on the page after it's already loaded, dynamically. That's right. With just a little bit of code, you can make words on the screen completely change when someone clicks a button. There's no page reload, no waiting around, just poof, instant update. This is JavaScript reaching in and directly changing the website structure, what developers call the DOM, to create a totally smooth user experience. Okay, moving on to power number 2. This one takes that first idea and applies it to visuals, and it solves a super common problem. We've all been there, right? You've got, say, 10 awesome photos you want to show off, but you don't want to make people scroll for a mile just to see them all. So what do? How do you solve that puzzle? Well, you guessed it, JavaScript to the rescue. This is how image sliders and carousels are born. You can cycle through a whole bunch of images in one single compact spot. Honestly, it's one of the most popular and useful things JavaScript is used for all over the web. All right, on to our third power. Now, this one's a little less about what you see and more about creating a smarter, smoother conversation between a user and the website. Just imagine this. Someone's filling out a form, but they forget to type their name. Now, instead of them hitting submit, waiting, and then getting a big error page, JavaScript can check it instantly, right in the browser and go, whoops, looks like you missed a spot. It gives you that immediate feedback, and when they fix it, green light, all good. And that's the key here. This whole process, called form validation, isn't just about catching errors. It's about making things easier and less frustrating for the user. It's like having a friendly little helper right there, guiding them to fill things out correctly the first time. And for our last power today, let's see what happens when you start putting all these ideas together. This is where you can build a full-on interactive tool from the ground up. The simple to-do list is a perfect example. Using JavaScript, you can build a list where people can type in new tasks, check them off when they're done, and even delete them completely. And the whole time, the page never ever reloads. It's like a mini application living right there on the web page, showing you the power to add, change, and remove things on the fly. So there you have it. From just changing a little bit of text to building entire interactive tools, you've now seen the core of what makes the web feel alive. And really, what you can build with these powers is pretty much only limited by what you can dream up. And as our source material wisely points out, the only way to get better is to, well, do it. It's not about memorizing a textbook. It's about building stuff. The more you actually write code, the more you'll see things click, and the more natural it will all start to feel. And seriously, don't be afraid to mess up. Go ahead, experiment, break things. Every single error is just a chance to learn something new. The absolute best way to learn is by trying to build something cool and figuring it out as you go. So, you've seen the spark. You know the secret ingredient. You know how the magic works. The only real question left is, what are you going to bring to life?